Madonna was in the middle of Papa Don't Preach when a man suddenly collapsed in the crowd. 72,000 people screamed in panic. Security rushed in. Doctors were called. But the reason he fell wasn't what anyone expected. And what happened next made everyone cry for a completely different reason. It was June 8, 2006, at Soldier Field Stadium in Chicago. Madonna was performing her Confessions tour to a sold-out crowd of 72,000 fans. The energy was electric, the production was massive, and Madonna was at the peak of her performance power. But in row 11, something far more important than any concert was about to unfold. Marcus Thompson, 52 years old, sat next to his daughter Emily, 24. To anyone watching, they seemed like a typical father-daughter pair enjoying a concert together. But nothing about their situation was typical. Emily was fighting stage 3 breast cancer. For 6 months, she'd endured chemotherapy, radiation, and countless procedures. She'd lost her beautiful hair, and now wore a wig. She'd lost weight, dropping from 140 pounds to barely 105. She'd lost her energy, her appetite, and many days, her hope. But she hadn't lost her father. Marcus was a single parent. Emily's mother had died during childbirth 24 years ago, and Marcus had raised his daughter alone. She was his entire world, and for the past 6 months, he'd watched cancer try to steal her away. This concert, these tickets to see Madonna, Emily's favorite artist, was the first time in 6 months that Emily had left the house for something other than a hospital visit. Marcus had bought the tickets 3 months ago, as a surprise, hoping Emily would be strong enough to come. She barely was, but she'd insisted, because Papa Don't Preach was their song. It had been since Emily was a little girl. Marcus used to sing it to her, changing the lyrics to make her laugh. It was their connection, their tradition, their thing. And tonight, Marcus had planned something that would either be the best or worst decision of his life. What Emily didn't know was that her boyfriend David was also at the stadium, not sitting with them. He was 20 rows back, holding a sign, waiting for a signal. David, 26 years old, had been with Emily for 2 years. When she was diagnosed with cancer, he never wavered. He was at every appointment, every treatment, every bad day. He loved her completely. 3 months ago, David had asked Marcus for permission to propose to Emily. Marcus had said yes immediately, but Emily had refused to even discuss marriage. "Not until I'm better," she kept saying. "I won't make you marry someone who might die." David was heartbroken. Marcus was furious, not at David, but at cancer for making his daughter feel like she wasn't worth loving right now. So Marcus made a plan. A crazy, possibly terrible, definitely dramatic plan. He was going to collapse during Papa Don't Preach, their special song, and in the chaos, David would rush over with his proposal sign. Emily would be so confused, so overwhelmed, so caught up in the moment, that maybe she'd say yes. It was insane. Marcus knew it, but he also knew that his daughter deserved to feel celebrated right now, not like someone waiting to be worthy. When Madonna began Papa Don't Preach, Emily grabbed her father's hand and squeezed. Even weak from treatment, her grip was tight with emotion. "Dad, it's our song," she said, tears already in her eyes. "I know, baby girl," Marcus said, his own voice thick. "And today is very special." Emily looked at him, confused by his tone. But before she could ask, Marcus stood up. People around them glanced over, annoyed that he was blocking their view. Then Marcus clutched his chest and fell. Emily's scream cut through the music and the crowd noise. "Baba, Baba, no." People around them immediately started shouting, "He's having a heart attack. Someone call for help. We need a doctor." Emily dropped to her knees beside her father, sobbing, trying to feel for a pulse, her hands shaking. This couldn't be happening. Not her dad, not now, not after everything. The chaos spread through the section. People were standing, pointing, shouting for security. From the stage, Madonna saw the commotion. She stopped singing immediately. "Stop, stop the music," she commanded. The band cut out mid-verse. 72,000 people fell silent. Someone collapsed, Madonna said, into the microphone, shielding her eyes from the spotlight. Where? Show me where. Security was already rushing to row 11. Madonna left the stage, walking down the steps into the audience section. Her crew tried to stop her, but she waved them off. If someone's dying, I'm not staying up there, she said firmly. When Madonna reached row 11 with security and medical personnel, she found Emily sobbing over her father, but Marcus was smiling. He wasn't clutching his chest anymore. He was on one knee, and in his hand was a small velvet box. I'm not having a heart attack, Marcus said loudly, his voice carrying in the stunned silence. But my daughter is about to. Emily stared at him in complete confusion. Dad, what? Marcus pointed across the stadium. Look over there, baby girl. Emily turned. There, 20 rows back, was David, standing on his seat, holding a massive sign, Emily Thompson, will you marry me? The crowd erupted. People started screaming, crying, cheering. David began making his way down the rows toward Emily, security initially blocking him, until Madonna shouted, let him through. Madonna, now standing in the aisle with a security guard's microphone, looked at Marcus with a mixture of amusement and shock. Did you just fake a medical emergency to propose to your daughter? No, Marcus said, still on one knee. I faked a medical emergency so her boyfriend could propose. She won't let him because she has cancer and thinks she's not worthy. But she is worthy. Right now, today, and I'm not waiting. The stadium fell silent again. Madonna's expression changed to something softer, more emotional. You have cancer? Madonna asked Emily gently. Emily nodded, tears streaming down her face, unable to speak. She touched her wig self-consciously. Madonna looked at the crowd, then back at Marcus and Emily. Bring them on stage, all three of them. This proposal is happening where everyone can witness it. Minutes later, Marcus, Emily and David stood on the massive stage at Soldier Field. 72,000 people watched in complete silence. Emily looked tiny and fragile in her oversized Madonna t-shirt, her wig slightly crooked from the chaos, her face pale, but her eyes were bright with tears and confusion and hope. David dropped to one knee. Madonna handed him the microphone. Emily, David's voice shook. For 6 months, you've told me when I'm better. But I don't want to wait for better. You're not broken. You're not less. You're fighting, and you're brave, and you're beautiful, and I want to marry you right now. Not when cancer decides you're worthy. Now. Emily sobbed, her hands over her mouth. With your dad's blessing, and Madonna's, and 72,000 witnesses, will you marry me? The stadium held its breath. Yes, Emily screamed. Yes, yes. Soldier Field exploded. The roar was deafening. David slipped the ring on her finger as they both cried. Marcus wrapped his arms around both of them, crying harder than anyone. Madonna wiped her own eyes, then spoke into her microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed something beautiful, and I want to make this even more special. Madonna looked at Emily and David. When's the wedding? Emily hesitated. I don't know. I'm still in treatment. I don't even know if. 3 months, Madonna interrupted. That gives you time to finish treatment, regain some strength, and plan. I have a friend with a beautiful venue in Chicago. Consider it my gift. Emily and David stared at her in shock, and Madonna continued. I'll sing one song at your wedding, your choice. Actually, I already know which one. She smiled at Marcus. Papa, don't preach. For you and your dad. Emily collapsed into Madonna's arms, sobbing. The entire stadium cried with her. 3 months later, in September 2006, Emily and David got married at an elegant venue overlooking Lake Michigan. Emily's hair was starting to grow back in short, dark patches. She wore a simple white dress that didn't overwhelm her still thin frame. She looked radiant. 80 guests attended, and true to her word, Madonna came. She sang Papa Don't Preach acoustically, while Marcus and Emily had their father-daughter dance. Everyone in the room wept. Marcus held his daughter and whispered, "You made it, baby girl. You're getting married. Because you wouldn't let me wait," Emily whispered back. Thank you for making me live right now. After Emily and David's first dance, Madonna approached Marcus. That was the craziest thing anyone's ever done at my concert. Marcus laughed. Worth it though. Completely worth it, Madonna agreed. In 2011, Emily was cancer-free. 5 years of clear scans. She and David had a son named Marcus Jr., who was 2 years old. Emily's hair had grown back, thicker than before. She'd gained weight, regained strength, and was working as a nurse in an oncology ward. When Madonna announced another Chicago concert, Emily, David, Marcus and little Marcus Jr. all attended. They held a sign, "She said yes and beat cancer." During a break between songs, Madonna spotted them. Her face lit up with recognition. "Oh my God, is that?" Bring them backstage after the show. After the concert, Madonna met with the family in her dressing room. She held 2-year-old Marcus Jr. and looked at Emily with tears in her eyes. "Look at you," Madonna said. "You're healthy, you're glowing." "I'm alive," Emily said simply. "Because my dad made me say yes to living before I was ready, and because you gave us that moment." Madonna turned to Marcus. "You gave everyone in that stadium a heart attack that night." Marcus grinned. "I know, but my daughter was dying, and I wasn't going to let her die without being happy." Turns out, happiness helped her live. Marcus started an organization called Propose with Purpose in 2012. It helps people with serious illnesses experience special proposal moments, either proposing themselves or being proposed to without waiting for the right time. The right time is now, Marcus tells everyone. Don't wait for perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. But now exists, and now is when life happens. The organization has coordinated over 2,000 proposals for people with cancer, degenerative diseases, and other serious conditions. Many have taken place at concerts, sporting events, or other venues where the couple can be celebrated publicly. Several have happened at Madonna concerts. She always stops the show. Marcus didn't have a heart attack that night at Soldier Field, but he made 72,000 hearts stop for a different reason, by reminding everyone that love doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Emily wanted to be better before getting engaged, but Marcus knew that his daughter was already enough, cancer and all. He knew that waiting for the perfect moment meant potentially missing all the moments. Madonna understood that immediately. She stopped her show not because of a medical emergency, but because she saw something more important happening. A father fighting to give his daughter joy in the middle of tragedy. The story of that night reminds us, we don't get unlimited time, we don't get guaranteed tomorrows. What we get is now, and sometimes, the most important thing we can do is collapse dramatically in the middle of a concert, so our children know they're worth celebrating right now, not later. Marcus gave everyone a scare that night, but he gave his daughter something infinitely more valuable: permission to be happy while still being sick, permission to accept love while still being imperfect, permission to say yes to life, right now, exactly as she was. And that's a gift worth stopping any show for. If this story of love, courage, and living in the moment moved you, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this with someone who's waiting for the right time to do something important. Have you ever had someone push you to live now instead of waiting? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the moments that matter most.